In the year 1930, amidst the tightening grip of the Great Depression, an ambitious project began to climb skyward in New York City. Construction commenced on what would become the Empire State Building. The undertaking demanded a vast workforce. At its zenith, over 3,500 individuals labored on the site daily, pushing the structure higher with astonishing speed. Many of these workers were immigrants, predominantly Irish and Italian, seeking perilous work in hard times. A significant contingent of Mohawk ironworkers, known for their skill at heights, journeyed from the Conowake Reserve near Montreal to join the effort. During this period, safety regulations were far less stringent than in later eras. The men who assembled the steel skeleton worked under conditions that tested the limits of human endurance and nerve. They became known as the Sky Boys, famed for their seeming indifference to the dizzying drop below. Accounts from the time describe them walking confidently along narrow beams, hundreds of feet separating them from the pavement. These ironworkers guided massive steel girders into place, sometimes riding the beams upwards, attached only by the derrick's cable, using their own feet to steer the colossal pieces. Contemporary reports detailed their movements. The New York Times noted they provided the city's most thrilling open-air spectacle, maneuvering steel with balletic precision against the backdrop of the sky. Riveting teams followed the ironworkers, their task equally demanding. Working in groups, they heated rivets to a searing red glow, caught tossed rivets in buckets, and then hammered them into the beams, binding the frame together with rhythmic, percussive force. London's Daily Mail likened the workers to heroes of antiquity, observing their focused calm while climbing, walking, and swinging upon the immense steel structure. Their outward composure belied the constant danger. Despite their reputation for fearlessness, the workers respected certain hazards. Rain made the steel treacherous, increasing the risk of slips. Bitter cold numbed hands, making a secure grip difficult, sometimes impossible. Work proceeded at a remarkable pace. Floors were added almost daily, the steel framework rising faster than any structure had before. The entire project was engineered for speed and efficiency. Tragedy, however, was not entirely avoided. Official records documented 5 fatalities during the construction. Press accounts varied, with some newspapers reporting higher numbers, though claims of substantially more deaths remained unverified rumors. The sheer scale and the human drama of the construction captured public attention. The workers, suspended between earth and sky, became symbols of resilience and daring in an era of widespread hardship. Construction costs, budgeted at $60 million, ultimately totaled just under $41 million, significantly under budget, a rarity for such a massive project, especially during an economic downturn. As events unfolded, the structure topped out, reaching its planned height. In the year 1931, specifically on May 1st, the Empire State Building officially opened its doors. The opening occurred 45 days ahead of schedule, a testament to the relentless pace of construction, achieved just 18 months after work began. President Herbert Hoover remotely activated the building's lights from Washington, D.C., marking the occasion. Upon completion, the building stood 102 stories tall. Builders and speculators declared it would likely remain the world's tallest building for many years, ending the city's intense skyscraper rivalry. Engineers at the time generally agreed that constructing significantly taller structures posed immense technical and economic challenges, particularly given the economic climate. The Empire State Building seemed the apex of possibility. Its status as the tallest building globally and the first to surpass 100 floors quickly cemented its role as an icon, first of New York City and subsequently of the nation itself. Yet its early years were marked by financial struggle. The Great Depression hampered efforts to fill its vast office space, leading some to initially nickname it the Empty State Building. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, profitability remained elusive. Limited mass transit options near its location also presented challenges in attracting tenants, despite its growing fame. Subsequently, starting in the 1950s, the building's fortunes began to change. It finally reached a point of breaking even financially, attracting more renters drawn by its prestige and reputation. During this period in 1950, a large radio antenna was added to its pinnacle. This addition allowed area television stations to broadcast their signals effectively from the towering structure, further enhancing its prominence. Let's delve deeper into the daily lives of those Sky Boys during 1930 and 1931. The workforce was a mosaic of backgrounds, including seasoned immigrants and notably, Mohawk ironworkers whose reputation for high steel work preceded them. These Mohawk workers, hailing from Conowake, possessed skills passed down through generations, adapting traditional aptitudes to the new vertical landscape of the city. Their presence was integral to the project's rapid steel erection. The riveting gangs operated with a dangerous, yet precise, choreography. One worker heated rivets in a small forge until they glowed cherry red. Using tongs, the heater would then toss the scorching metal projectile across considerable distances, sometimes up or down several floors, to a catcher. The catcher skillfully snagged the rivet in a bucket, knocking off any cinders. He then inserted it into the waiting hole in the steel beams. Immediately, a third worker, the bucker-up, held a heavy dolly bar against the rivet's tail. The fourth man, the riveter, used a powerful pneumatic hammer, creating a deafening staccato roar as he formed a head on the rivet, sealing the connection. This four-man ballet, repeated thousands upon thousands of times, formed the building's skeleton. Precision and trust were paramount. A missed catch or a moment's hesitation could have severe consequences. During this era, safety harnesses were rudimentary or entirely absent. Workers navigated the narrow flanges of steel beams with learned confidence, their balance honed by necessity. They moved along the skeletal frame, often hundreds of feet in the air, carrying tools or directing crane operators. The concept of tying off was not standard practice. Accounts circulated of workers taking short breaks, even eating their lunches, perched casually on girders with the city sprawling far beneath them. Some were even said to have found moments for quick naps in their precarious positions. The sheer audacity of their work captivated onlookers. People on the streets below would stop and crane their necks, watching the human activity against the sky. Newspapers frequently chronicled the construction, emphasizing the workers' apparent nonchalance in the face of extreme heights and danger. Their labor became a symbol of human capability during challenging economic times. This relentless work came at a cost. While official figures cited 5 deaths, the hazardous nature of the job, combined with less rigorous reporting standards of the day, led to speculation and conflicting reports about the true number of fatalities. Each beam placed, each rivet driven home, was a testament to the skill and courage of this unique workforce. Their collective effort drove the building upward at an unprecedented rate. Ultimately, the Empire State Building became a monument not only of architectural ambition, but also of the extraordinary labor of the thousands who risked everything to raise it from the ground. The legacy of the Sky Boys is fused into the very steel of the structure they assembled. The backdrop for this extraordinary labor remained the Great Depression. For many of these men, the perilous work high above the city streets represented a vital source of income when jobs were scarce. Pay for the ironworkers and riveters, while good relative to some other jobs available during the Depression, hardly seemed commensurate with the daily risks they undertook. The drive to provide for families propelled many onto the high steel. During this period, a strong sense of camaraderie often developed among the crews. Trust was essential, not just within the four-man riveting teams, but between all workers navigating the unfinished floors and open framework. Their lives depended on each other's skill and attention. A shared understanding of the dangers forged powerful bonds among men from diverse backgrounds, united by their hazardous occupation. Beyond the celebrated ironworkers and riveters, numerous other tradesmen performed crucial tasks at dizzying heights. Masons laid exterior limestone, electricians ran conduits, and plumbers installed pipes, all contributing to the building's rapid ascent. Coordination among these different crews was a complex logistical feat, managed by the construction supervisors, Starrett Brothers and Ekin. Timing was critical to maintain the aggressive building schedule. As steel sections were completed, the Sky Boys moved upwards or onto the next phase. Their work, though essential, was transient, they assembled the skeleton and then moved on, leaving the finishing work to others. Once the structure was fully erected and enclosed, the specialized high-steel workers dispersed, seeking employment on other large-scale projects, their unique skills always in demand during building booms. The sight of these men working confidently against the sky, seemingly mastering gravity day after day, offered a potent symbol. In a time of widespread economic despair, their visible progress on the colossal structure provided a narrative of human achievement and hope. Their labor did not just build a skyscraper, it shaped the city's skyline and contributed to a sense of resilience during one of America's most challenging eras. The legend of the Sky Boys was cemented long before the final rivet was driven. The daily routine involved more than just the risk of a misstep. Falling objects posed a constant threat to those working on lower levels or even on the ground near the site perimeter. Tools, materials, even dropped rivets could become lethal projectiles plummeting from the heights where the Sky Boys operated. Vigilance was a necessity at every level of the construction. The auditory environment, particularly near the riveting gangs, was overwhelming. The percussive impact of pneumatic hammers against steel reverberated constantly, a defining sound of the project. Throughout the era of construction, the physical demands were immense. Workers endured long hours of strenuous labor, exposed to the elements, requiring significant strength and stamina day after day. As the Empire State Building neared completion in early 1931, the demand for the specialized skills of the high-steel crews began to wane on that specific project. Their task, the erection of the primary structure, was largely finished. Subsequently, many of these ironworkers and riveters moved on. The nature of their trade often involved migrating from one major construction project to the next, wherever tall buildings or large bridges were being assembled. For the Mohawk workers, many returned to their community at Conowake, while others continued to work on steel structures across North America, maintaining their long-standing tradition in ironworking. The completion of the building, despite its initial struggle to attract tenants, stood as a powerful counter-narrative to the prevailing economic gloom. It represented a monumental feat of engineering and labor accomplished against formidable odds. Even as the Sky Boys dispersed to new jobs, their collective achievement remained piercing the New York skyline. Their brief, intense period of work between 1930 and 1931 left an indelible mark on the city's physical form and its cultural memory.